Alright, so this is my home gym here, my weightlifting platform. Got the Monster Light squat rack, rower. Reason I wanted to make this video is that I've watched all the other videos on how to build a lifting platform on YouTube, and I just felt like there's a lot of extra stuff that they talk about that I don't feel is required, and I feel like they miss out a couple essential steps. So that's why I'm making my own video, kind of go over what I did and what works out for me and my budget. So my lifting platform uses 2 layers of 3/4 inch stall mat and 2 layers of high quality pine, oak, if it's more than $45 a sheet, you're using the right one. Quality plywood, as you can see there, 3/4 inch, and just simply drilled together with some wood screws. I didn't use wood glue. It's solid, doesn't slide around, even with just the screws. So here's one step that some of the other videos seem to skip out on, and that's trimming 6 to 8 inches off the width of the lifting platform, the plywood. And I'll show you why. Let me just transition over to other videos. Alright, so this is a typical 8x8 platform. As you can see, the plan calls for just a straight 4x8 plywood. If it's not trimmed, like I said, where you have to trim 6 to 8 inches width-wise, you can see how much space is left for the impact area of the plates, and you can see how frayed up these edges get. So that's why it's important to cut off that 6 or 8 inches off the width if you're doing a weightlifting platform. Alright, so that's why my platform is trimmed width-wise, to 42 inches. Now I bought this Monster Light squat rack after I built the platform, and after installing realized it's just a little too snug to slide in this board to get enough clearance for you to put your feet on when you're racking the bar during the squats. So I had to trim 2 more inches off this side. But if I could do this over again, I would probably trim the whole thing to 40 inches so that I could slide, don't have any fitment issues with the squat rack. And if you look at all the scuff marks on the platform, from where my feet are hitting during my cleans, clean and jerk, snatches, you see that still have plenty of real estate for my feet to land, even if I were to trim it down to 40. So, less is probably better, but this is what I have right now. I also have these, let's see, these 2x6s. They're sold as 2x6, but they're actually 1.5 inches thick. So they line up perfectly on the end there. It was just uneven. I don't know, this is just a cosmetic thing. I know it's not really gonna hold. I don't plan on standing on it, but just a cosmetic thing. I just want it to look even. So I trimmed and put those pieces on there as well. Yeah, so here's another thing. You have to consider where you are putting this platform. Now, my house is built, this is actually my living room. My house is built on a concrete slab, and I don't really care about this wood flooring. It's probably gonna replace it before I move out. It was already crap when I moved in. But right under this wood is, just straight concrete. So say you're planning to build this in your garage where, it's just plain concrete. This should be enough. I mean, I've seen gyms where people just put one layer of 1/2 inch stall mats, and it's fine. And if I look under my platform here, there's no damage to the floor at all, even with all the slamming going on. So I just thought, you know, maybe go a little higher quality, get 2 layers of the wood, 2 layers of the stall mats. Now, a problem with some of the other videos on YouTube right now is that they call for using like 3 to 4 layers of wood and stall mat. And I understand that you're gonna get a very solid quality lifting platform by doing that, but I just don't feel that it's necessarily worth the cost, especially if you're going to be using your platform on, you know, a concrete base such as your garage or whatever. And this, so if you want to go, if you're on a budget and you want to go a step down from this, hey, just use 1 layer stall mat and 1 layer of plywood. Just make sure it's a quality plywood. Okay, now for like technical parts of building this platform. Like I said, trimming the plywood, get it done at where you buy it from, Lowe's or Home Depot. Ask them to cut it 6 to 8 inches off the width. It's free, so have them do the work for you, and that machine gets it as straight as possible. Now the other tricky part, the do-it-yourself part, is trimming the stall mats. I got mine from Tractor Supply Co. They are sold as a 4x6, so I cut it in half to make it a 2x6, and cutting these straight can be a little tricky, but I do have a good tip for them, which I'll go over now. So first is the right tools. You want to get yourself a good utility razor blade knife, and plenty of spare razors. Not too many, just like a pack of 10. These are pretty cheap. You can get it for like $6 or $7, but they work really well. The blade, I would rotate the blade halfway through cutting the mat, and then use the other side and then replace the blade before I cut the next mat. So these are pretty cheap, make your job easy, make the cut straight, you know, just replace these out as you be liberal with them. Now the key to getting a good straight cut is proper setup of the mat for cutting. So what I did, just get a piece of wood, a 2x4, 2x6. It doesn't even have to be a piece of wood, but anything you can use to get this propped up. So that what this does is that, so you want to, say you want to cut down this line, I'll prop it up, a piece of wood, under the mat. And while I'm cutting the mat, because it's propped up, it'll split open and make the cuts a lot easier to do. If you were to try to cut this mat while it's on a flat surface, you're just going to be fighting against the blades rubbing the rubber and just causing a lot of friction, and you just don't get a good, clean, easy cut. So if you want to make your life a lot easier, prop up your mat on a piece of wood like this. So yeah, that's my platform. I hope this video helps out a lot of you guys. Do your research, watch the other videos on YouTube. You know, take what works for you, take what works on your needs and your budget, and just, you know, this is your custom platform. You get to make it the way you want. Don't just follow one plan that's out there. Probably gonna get a lot of questions asking, oh, won't these mats move around because they're not tied or clamped down anyway? These mats are pretty dang heavy, and you know, the rubber on the bottom, there's plenty of friction, and you got two of them stacked together. So yeah, they do not move even after slamming down, you know, from clean and jerks and such. And they might move maybe like an inch or two, well, not even an inch, but you know, over time they may move just a little, and it's just easy adjustment just to slide them over. And for me, I think I just like the look of having like a clean rubber end as opposed to having a metal or wooden frame built around the whole platform. And it works for me.